The hammer strikes the wire in a cathedral of felt and spruce, where the piano begins its solitary pilgrimage. A soft descent of notes like rain, falling upon the dry parchment of the soul. There is a quietude in the ivory keys, a deliberate pacing of Arbolita's vision that counts the heartbeats of the weary before the first word is ever uttered. Then comes the violin, a slender reed of wood and resin, weeping upward in a glissando. That's the distance between the earth and the firmament. It does not merely play a melody, it sighs the ancient longing of the anima Christi, pulling a silver thread through the silence, vibrating with the tension of a spirit that is both broken and being mended. This is the prelude to the indwelling, the preparation of the vessel for the wine and the water that are about to flow from the side of the transcendent. Soul of Christ, be the breath within my own lungs, a sanctification that moves not as a concept, but as a tangible warmth spreading through the marrow. The choir rises now, the Bucas Palette Collective, a tapestry of voices that carries the weight of 1,000 Sundays and the intimacy of a single whispered confession. Their harmony is the architecture of mercy, building a roof of song over the listener, where every alto's depth and every soprano's light serves to illuminate the darkness of the human condition. Body of Christ, save me, not from the world but within it, becoming the very substance of my resilience. The piano ripples underneath like the surface of a disturbed pool, reflecting the fractured light of grace, while the violin sustains a high shimmering note that feels like the very edge of a cloud touched by the setting sun. Blood of Christ, inebriate me, let the vintage of the cross wash away the thirst for things that do not satisfy. There is a holy intoxication in this movement, a rhythmic ebb and flow, where the percussion of the piano's lower register grounds the celestial flight of the voices. Water from the side of Christ, wash me, not merely a cleansing of the skin, but a deluge for the interior deserts. A river finding its way through the canyons of the heart's hidden grievances. The music swells here, the violin becoming more urgent, its vibrato a pulse of desperation and hope intertwined. It is the sound of the spiral, becoming a portal, an invitation to hide within the cleft of the rock. Passion of Christ, strengthen me, for the journey is long and the mountain is steep, and only the memory of the suffering God can provide the fortitude to endure the silence of the Saturday tomb. Oh, good Jesus, hear me. Let the prayer transition from a liturgical rite into a desperate with me breathing. Within thy wounds hide me. Let the jagged edges of thy pain be the sanctuary, where my own scars find their resonance and their rest. The choir's voices thicken, a wall of sound that is neither harsh nor heavy, but enveloping like a shroud made of light. Do not permit me to be parted from thee. The piano insists with the recurring motif, a stubborn insistence of grace that refuses to let go of the hem of the garment. From the malignant enemy defend me, from the shadows that whisper of unworthiness and the cold winds of abandonment. The violin now dances in a counterpoint of protection, a soaring bird circling the fortress of the melody, warding off the night with a frantic, beautiful clarity. In the hour of my death, call me and bid me come to thee, that with thy saints I may praise thee forever and ever. The music begins its long, translucent fade, the voices thinning into a singular, holy vibration. The violin returns to its lowest string, a resonant woody hum that mimics the settling of the earth, while the piano offers one final crystalline chord that hangs in the air like incense in an empty nave. This is the buka's palette, the open hand, surrendering the song back to the silence from which it was born. The lyrics have dissolved into the atmosphere, leaving only the scent of the sacred and the lingering vibration of a soul that has, for a few minutes, been fused with the divine. The final note is not an end, but a door left slightly ajar, through which the light of the soul of Christ continues to pour into the quiet rooms of our ordinary lives. In the deepening amethyst of the seventh hour, when the Sabbath sun leans low against the leaded glass, a silence settles upon the nave like the weight of ancient water. Here the clock counts not in seconds but in heartbeats, marking the threshold where the day's labor dissolves into the vesperal glow. We gather, a collective of lungs and longing, positioned in the tide. The amber wick of the seventh hour trembles against the cooling stone of the nave, where the day exhales its final gilded breath. We stand in the gathering gloaming, not as masters of the morning, but as stewards of the twilight, carrying the residue of the week's dust upon our sandals, and the weight of our brother's silence within our own throats. There is a specific gravity to this Sunday evening, a density of spirit that Richard and Betty once captured in the simplicity of a wooden flute and a heart laid bare. It is the geometry of the basin and the towel, the architecture of the bended knee that defines our gathering here beneath the vaulted shadows. We are a tapestry of callous palms and weary eyes, woven together by the singular thread of a promise that we shall not walk the jagged path of the world in isolation. The air is thick with the scent of extinguished beeswax and the lingering echo of the Gloria. Yet here in the quietude of the 7 p.m. choir, the music becomes a living sinew, a ligament of grace that binds the broken to the whole. To be the servant is to relinquish the ivory tower of the self and descend into the fertile valley of the other. It is to recognize that the Christ light we carry is not a torch for our own illumination, but a lantern held steady for the one whose oil has run dry in the thickets of despair. We look across the pews and see not strangers, but reflections of a shared fragility, a communion of pilgrims whose only map is the cadence of a common heartbeat. The harmony we seek is not found in the perfection of the note, but in the vulnerability of the breath, the way a soprano's plea nests within the baritone's resolve. We are learning the difficult vernacular of the foot washer, the syntax of the one who stands behind the burden of a friend to push when the incline becomes too steep. In this sacred space, the boundaries of the ego dissolve like incense in the rafters, leaving only the raw essence of a people who have decided that to lead is to follow, and to possess is to give away. Listen to the subterranean resonance of the wood, the way the benches groan under the weight of 100 different sorrows and 1,000 whispered hopes. The Gillard melody is of sighing timber, spanning the chasm between the divine and the mundane, reminding us that the highest liturgy is found in the lowest service. We sing not to the rafters, but to the person beside us, our voices interlocking like the fingers of a desperate prayer. It is an evening of profound surrender, where the frantic noise of the commercial week is silenced by the rhythmic peace of the servant's path. We are the guardians of each other's shadows, the keepers of the flame in the wind-swept canyon of the soul. When one of us stumbles on the flint of bitterness, the choir does not stop. It merely softens, creating a hollow of sound, where the fallen might rest until the strength to rise returns to their limbs. As the moon ascends to claim the zenith of the dark, our gathering becomes a sanctuary of the submissive will. There is no vanity in this 7 p.m. light, only the translucent truth of the gospel made flesh in the act of being present. We are the clay and the potter's hands simultaneously, being shaped by the very service we offer to the world. Each stanza is a commitment to stay when the others flee, to speak when the world demands silence, and to weep when the joy of our neighbor is too heavy for them to celebrate alone. This is the monumental quiet of the servant's song, a quiet that roars louder than the cathedrals of stone, because it is built from the living stones of human compassion. We exit into the night, not as those who have finished a performance, but as those who have been recharged at the source of all empathy, ready to be the hands that heal and the feet that carry the message of all an unyielding and sacrificial love into the cold corners of the coming Monday. The tall shadow of Bukianiko stretches across the marble floor of history, not with the clatter of a soldier's iron, but with the silent tread of a man who found his God in the stench of the infirmary. You, who once threw the dice against the world's hollow promises, found at last the only wager worth the soul, the desperate gamble of love given to the dying. There was a wound upon your own limb that would not close, a reminder of the fragility of the clay we inhabit. Yet it became the wellspring of a mercy that knew no bottom. You turned away from the vanity of the sword to embrace the broken rib, the labored breath, and the fevered brow of those whom the world had cast into the gutters of neglect. In the echoing halls of San Giacomo, where the air was thick with the scent of unwashed pain and the salt of tears, you did not see a beggar's rags or a leper's sores. You saw the King of Glory crowned in thorns, waiting for a cup of water and a hand to hold in the gathering dark. The red cross upon your breast was not a badge of war, but a herald of the blood that heals, a crimson geometry of hope, stitched into the very fabric of service. You taught us that the hands of the nurse are the hands of the priest, and the bed of the sick is an altar, where the sacrifice of patience is offered up in the incense of endurance. Your heart grew larger than the chest that held it, a cathedral of compassion, where every groan of the suffering was met with the litany of comfort. You did not flinch from the contagion's breath or the rot of the flesh, for you knew that the spirit is refined in the furnace of affliction, and that the greatest miracle is not the walking of the lame, but the love that stays when everyone else has fled. Through the long nights of the plague, when the city was a sepulcher and the living envied the dead, you were the lamp that did not flicker, the voice that whispered of a kingdom where there is no more mourning, and where every tear is wiped away by the finger of the Father. Give us your eyes, Camillus, to see the hidden dignity in the pale face of the impoverished and the trembling limbs of the aged. Let us understand that to serve the poor is to touch the very side of Christ, to feel the warmth of His presence in the cold rooms of the destitute. You were the giant of charity, stooping low to wash the feet of the forgotten, showing us that true greatness is found in the bending of the knee and the softening of the heart. The world measures power in gold and conquest, but you measured it in the weight of a body lifted from the dust, in the softness of the lint applied to a bleeding gash, and in the silence of a prayer offered for a soul on the threshold of eternity. Your legacy is not written in stone, but in the living tissues of those who care for the broken, in every hospital ward where the light of mercy breaks through the clouds of despair. May we carry the same flame that burned in your chest, a fire that does not consume but purifies, turning our selfish desires into a harvest of holy labor. In the quiet moments of the sick room, when the world feels distant and the shadows grow long, let your spirit remind us that we are never more like God than when we are serving the least of His children. You are the patron of the last hour, the friend of the final breath, the one who stands at the gate between this life and the next to ensure that no one crosses alone. Let our lives be a devotional song, a melody of mercy played on the strings of our daily deeds, echoing the rhythm of your own tireless devotion to the sick and the poor, until we too are gathered into that light where the physician gentle touch in the theology of a whispered word. In the midst of our modern speed, grant us the slowness of your deliberate care, the patience to wait with the restless, and the strength to carry the burdens of the weak. For in the face of the sufferer, we find the true mirror of our own humanity, and in the service of the poor, we find the only path that leads surely to the heart of the divine. Stand, Camillus, servant of the hidden Christ. May your red cross be the compass that guides us through the storms of indifference to the quiet harbor of eternal love.
The amber wick of the seventh hour trembles against the cooling stone of the nave, where the day exhales its final gilded breath. We stand in the gathering gloaming, not as masters of the morning, but as stewards of the twilight, carrying the residue of the week's dust upon our sandals, and the weight of our brother's silence within our own throats. There is a specific gravity to this Sunday evening, a density of spirit that Richard and Betty once captured in the simplicity of a wooden flute and a heart laid bare. It is the geometry of the basin and the towel, the architecture of the bended knee that defines our gathering here beneath the vaulted shadows. We are a tapestry of calloused palms and weary eyes, woven together by the singular thread of a promise that we shall not walk the jagged path of the world in isolation. The air is thick with the scent of extinguished beeswax and the lingering echo of the Gloria. Yet here in the quietude of the 7 p.m. choir, the music becomes a living sinew, a ligament of grace that binds the broken to the whole.
To be the servant is to relinquish the ivory tower of the self and dissown into the fertile valley of the other. It is to recognize that the Christ light we carry is not a torch for our own illumination, but a lantern held steady for the one whose oil has run dry in the thickets of despair. We look across the pews and see not strangers, but reflections of a shared fragility, a communion of pilgrims whose only map is the cadence of a common heartbeat. The harmony we seek is not found in the perfection of the note, but in the vulnerability of the breath, the way a soprano's plea nests within the baritone's resolve. We are learning the difficult vernacular of the foot washer, the syntax of the one who stands behind the burden of a friend to push when the incline becomes too steep in this sacred space. The boundaries of the ego dissolve like incense in the rafters, leaving only the raw essence of a people who have decided that to lead is to follow, and to possess is to give away. Listen to the subterranean resonance of the wood, the way the benches groan under the weight of 100 different sorrows and 1,000 whispered hopes. The gilded melody is of sighing timber, spanning the chasm between the divine and the mundane, reminding us sing not to the rafters, but to the person beside us, our voices interlocking like the fingers of a desperate prayer. It is an evening of profound surrender, where the frantic noise of the commercial week is silenced by the rhythmic peace of the servant's path. We are the guardians of each other's shadows, the keepers of the flame in the windswept canyon of the soul. When one of us stumbles on the flint of bitterness, the choir does not stop. It merely softens, creating a hollow of sound where the fallen might rest, until the strength to rise returns to their limbs. As the moon ascends to claim the zenith of the dark, our gathering becomes a sanctuary of the submissive will. There is no vanity in this 7 p.m. light, only the translucent truth of the gospel made flesh in the act of being present. We are the clay and the potter's hand simultaneously, being shaped by the very service we offer to the world. Each stanza is a commitment to stay when the others flee, to speak when the world demands silence, and to weep when the joy of our neighbor is too heavy for them to celebrate alone. This is the monumental quiet of the servant's song, a quiet that roars louder than the cathedrals of stone, because it is built from the living stones of human compassion. We exit into the night, not as those who have finished a performance, but as those who have been recharged at the source of all empathy, ready to be the hands that heal and the feet that carry the message of an unyielding and sacrificial love into the cold corners of the coming Monday.
The shadows of the vaulted nave lengthen toward the altar, where the Sunday sun yields its final amber ghost to the coming dusk of 7 o'clock. Here, within the hollowed silence of the late hour, the choir breathes as a single lung, inhaling the scent of extinguished beeswax and exhaling the ancient narrative of the furrow and the grain. We stand in the gloaming of the Sabbath, carrying the weight of the week's labor, gathered like stalks of wheat, leaning toward the sickle of the Spirit. The air is thick with the resonance of Dan Fighton's melody, yet it transcends the printed page to become a living pulse, a heartbeat of organic grace that recognizes every soul in this dim sanctuary as a plot of earth, some tilled by sorrow and others hardened by the relentless treading of worldly feet. The great sower moves through the aisles of our collective memory, his hand a rhythmic pendulum swinging against the horizon of our poverty. There is a wildness in the scattering, a divine prodigality that does not measure the cost of the lost grain, but celebrates the possibility of the germinal miracle. We watch the seed fly in gilded arcs through the vespertine light, landing with the softness of a whisper upon the very terrain